4 p.m. today is the NFL trade deadline. And look, the Eagles have done a lot already, right? I mean, they have done probably, and I say probably because I don't know that, probably the bulk of the work and maybe all of the work.
The heavy lifting is done.
Yeah, probably. Jalen Phillips here from the Miami Dolphins as an edge rusher. Jair Alexander here from the Baltimore Ravens as an outside corner. Michael Carter III, or second, whatever he is, here as another corner on the inside, potentially with the Cooper DeJean being able to play outside. So they've done a lot. They added 2 corners. They added an edge rusher. Hugh Douglas, Howie Roseman has done a good amount of work.
Howie season.
It is Howie season. But my watch tells me we still got quite a few hours until 4 p.m. today. So this is not over. So Hugh Douglas, if Howie Roseman could add one more thing, if Howie's got one more move up his sleeve between now and 4 p.m. today, what would you want?
As I look at this depth chart and I see all the acquisitions and everything, I see Adoree Jackson is questionable for this game this week coming up and everything. I would probably say, just for a depth piece, I'd probably say another offensive lineman.
Another offense? I like that idea.
Yeah, another offensive lineman. You know, when you talk about Cam and the fact that he's, questionable for this upcoming game, you talk about Landon Dickerson, getting back healthy.
Right.
I would like to throw another offensive lineman in there just to, keep everything. That would be nice.
Well, and we've had offensive line issues the entire season. It has not been as strong as it has been in years past.
But it's gotten better. They've been playing better.
Sure, they have. But they're all, to your point, depth is always huge there. And I don't think they're as deep on the offensive line as they have been in years past. They're also now, I think this is a big factor to your point here, they're using 6 offensive linemen in a lot of formations more than they ever did.
Yeah, so trying to get that run thing.
Right, but it makes Fred Johnson, like he's not your typical backup anymore where he just sits on the bench waiting in case Mailata or Lane go down. He's in a lot of the plays. So if we lost him, it would change the formations we could use.
Devastating.
Yeah, I never thought we'd use the word devastating for Fred Johnson.
It's just hyperbolic.
I got it, but he is more important than he used to be. I think it's a fair one to bring up. An offensive lineman would be a good move for Howie Roseman. If it's me and I'm Howie today, look, I don't think this is a weakness, this position, but I think it could be stronger. I look at safety. Our safeties are Reed Blankenship, who's fine. Reed has been a solid player since
they've been pretty decent this year.
He's solid. He's fine. The other guy is Andrew Makuba, who I think we all like. Second-round pick. He made the huge play in Kansas City with the interception on Patrick Mahomes that really won that football game. And he's fine, but he is up and down, right? He gave up the big play in Tampa Bay. He's had some missed tackles. I look at it as if they keep the safeties where they are and don't do anything today, I don't think it's going to kill them. But I also think it's probably the weakest part of the defense now that we added more up front, now that we got Nakobe back in the linebacking core, now we have 2 good corners, and hopefully we'll figure out that third spot. I do think safety is the weakest part of our defense, and when I think about the explosive plays they've allowed, it feels like the safeties have been responsible for some of them. So I look at that, and even beyond just how good you think Blankenship and Makuba are, what if one of those guys gets hurt? Who are backup safeties? It's Epps who's back here, right? It's Sidney Brown. Cooper DeJean. Well, it could be Cooper DeJean. Yeah, Cooper DeJean. I mean, that could end up being an emergency play.
Yeah, but to your point, we don't have that much depth at that position.
So I would go safety. So 215-592-94. We're got a lot to get to today, including a 4-pack of tickets. Yeah, we're going to a Flyers game coming up on December 3rd. The show is going out to a Flyers game. We want you guys to come with us. 4-pack of tickets. We'll tell you about how we're giving those away in just a few minutes. So your phone calls here on all this. Trade deadline coming up 4 p.m. today. If you could add one more thing, if Howie could add one more thing, what is it? I'd go safety. Hugh Douglas going offensive line. Hugh, I think in a lot of cases with a lot of GMs, with all the trades Howie's made over the past week and beyond that, most people would assume that GM is done. I never think Howie is done. By 4 o'clock today, will you be surprised if Howie's got one more move up in him? I wouldn't.
Would I be surprised? That's a good question, Joe. I think that when you look at what they've done, the biggest thing I think that they tried to do was make moves to help make the team better, but not leverage the future.
Yeah,
and I think they did that. When you talk about Jalen Phillips from Miami, 26 years old, and is in a contract year. So if he plays well, he fits into the criteria of what you want with this young defense.
He does. So they could keep him, or they could get a comp pick for him, right?
Yes.
So it almost feels like they're renting him with the chance to keep him, right? If they want to.
Yeah. So it fits into that wheelhouse, and it still keeps you relevant. I think that's the biggest thing that we talk about. We talk about this team is the relevancy.
Yeah. And
you're competitive. Those are the things that you're trying to balance here, and I think Howie's done a good job of that. So to answer your question in long form, I think that might be it. I think that might be it.
Yeah, I think Howie's got one more up his sleeve. I always think he does. And again, it doesn't have to be a huge piece. We talked over the Myles Garrett stuff on Friday. I would have loved Myles Garrett. It seems like the Browns are going to keep him. We got Jalen Phillips. We go from here. I never think Howie is done. The guy has made 9 trades since August. I mean, what's one more today before 4 o'clock? 215-592-9494. By the way, I brought up safety. Marcus Epps is actually on the injured reserve right now. They brought him in after the season began. The vet, he used to be here, bounced around the league the last couple of years. He's on the IR. As I look at the safety group, it's Blankenship, it's Makuba, it is Sidney Brown. And Hugh brought up the possibility that Cooper could play safety in a pinch, and obviously he's versatile and could do those kind of things. But that feels to me like it's the weakest part of the defense as I see it. Like, as we go forward, I think the defense is going to be good enough to give us a chance to go win another Super Bowl. But that safety group, look, Minkah Fitzpatrick down in Miami, I know we made a trade with him the other day. If he's actually available, that to me is a difference maker. I'm not sure what Howie has up his sleeve, but safety's where I go. I like Hugh's idea for another offensive lineman, some depth there, because it's been a weaker spot on this team compared to other teams. 215-592-9494. And as I view it now, it's all about positioning our team against the other true contenders in the NFC. Because when we're monitoring the news today, and Kyle will break in with any breaking news, keep it here, all the breaking news on the trade front coming up over the next few hours. It's not just going to be about what do the Eagles do today. I'm going to have an eye on what are the Packers doing? What are the Lions doing?
Yeah.
What are the Rams doing?
Yeah, looking at
Seahawks,
other people's graphs.
Of course, because we got to go through those teams to get back to a Super Bowl. And those are the 4 teams right now, and they'll throw Tampa Bay in there because they always play us tough, and they're going to win their division most likely, that I'm watching. Like, those teams, what they do over the next couple hours. Last night, the Cowboys go down. The division was won before yesterday, but it's even more obvious now. The Eagles are just positioning themselves for January football and the next couple games here where they have some tough ones. And really down the stretch of the season, have some tough games against Green Bay, against Detroit, against the Chargers, against the Bills. 215-592-9494. Kyle, where do you go if you're Howie and you got one more move up your sleeve this afternoon?
So I'm not usually one to get greedy or... I'm not big on like overkill and stuff like that. But man, wouldn't it be fun? You guys both mentioned some spots where, like we're not weak at necessarily. We could maybe patch some things up, or we could get a little boost. We could get some depth. What if we got another just like big time impact guy on that defense?
Ooh, up front?
Well, look, somebody we're very familiar with on the show is still available. And it looks like this team is now starting to sell off players. The Bengals just traded Logan Wilson to the Cowboys. And Trey Hendrickson looks like he's still being shopped. I know we just got Jalen Phillips, guys, but like, could you imagine what this pass rush would look like if we had both sides loaded up with Jalen Phillips? We had Trey Hendrickson on the other side. We have Jalen Carter in the middle. And then we can rotate guys in and out. Nolan Smith rotating in and out.
And maybe that would keep him healthier, by the way, if Nolan Smith didn't have to play as much.
I talked about this last week when we did the Myles Garrett thing. If we had Trey and Jalen Phillips,
nobody would ever score another
we would never allow another yard. I'm not looking for something that might boost like an area that might become weak if somebody gets injured, a depth guy. Like, I'm looking for another move that would like secure us at that top spot in the NFC.
Bolster that pass.
So another edge. You want an edge?
I think if I know I'm getting greedy here, and it's probably not very likely, but if we could get rid of a second or a third for Trey Hendrickson, I think we'd instantly become Super Bowl favorites, and by a good bit.
Bengals call right now, and they say, give us the Jets pick at the top of the 3rd round for Trey Hendrickson.
No question.
Hugh, you
Wait
in?
a minute, say it again.
So they'll say the Bengals called the Eagles this morning and say, we're moving Trey today. Would you give us the Jets pick, which is their 3rd round pick, which clearly is going to be right near the top of the 3rd round, first pick, second, whatever it's going to be? Would you make the deal? 3rd round pick, the Jets' 3rd round pick for Trey Hendrickson. Add to the pass rush. Hendrickson, Phillips, Smith, Hunt, Uche, BG, all rotating in.
No.
What do you mean, why?
Because I still got to pay him.
No, you don't.
I want that 3rd pick.
What do you mean? You don't have to pay anyone. He's a free agent after this.
I know that, but I'm saying you're just going to trade away the pick and let him leave at the end of the season. So it's like a 6-week rental, 7-week rental, 9-week rental.
But the Super Bowl.
10-week rental.
Do you want to win the Super Bowl?
I do. I think we could do it without. I think we could do it without Trey.
Well, I mean, they could do it without anyone. But with the idea, so I think the other thing to consider this today, whatever moves Howie makes or doesn't make, Trey Hendrickson's a big name, right? Probably the biggest name still out there.
Names, yes.
Where does he go if he doesn't go here? That's the other part of the equation. Like if he just stays at Cincinnati, who cares, right? That doesn't matter. if he ends up in Seattle today, if he ends up in Detroit today, that's a difference. I mean, that changes. If you think,
no, I see what you're blocking. You're kind of blocking a little bit from what other teams could.
Well, I don't want to see him. I mean, I don't want to see him in an NFC Championship game trying to chase down Jalen Hurts as a member of the Seattle Seahawks or the Detroit Lions, wherever he's going to end up. 215-592-9494. That's a hot. I'm going to throw out one more position the three of us didn't touch, then right to your phone calls here. So you and I here were more on the depth part of this, right? Like,
yes.
You want another offensive lineman, I'll take another safety. How about a position that we don't talk about until it gets weak? And what I mean by that is, like, when our starter is healthy, it's not a position of need. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about tight end. Dallas Goedert is awesome, right? He has 7 touchdowns already this year?
Yes.
Yeah, we all like Dallas Goedert. I was banging the table.
Been pretty available this year, too.
He's been awesome, right? He had one missed game. I think he missed the second week of the season in Kansas City.
Yeah, pretty available.
But what does that mean? Like, does that mean it's going to last? I mean, he typically always misses close to a handful of games.
He's been a lot healthier this year,
right,
than he was last year around this time.
I'm just saying, if we could get another tight end in here, just in case or when Goddard goes down, and we mentioned it yesterday, if the Commanders decide to have a fire sale today, I'd love to bring Zach Ertz home. He's a big game player. I mean, we have like 8 catches in the title game last year against the Philadelphia Eagles. I think it'd be awesome. Just another option in the red zone. You could put 2 tight end formations out there. If he's available, or just another tight end, I'd be into that.
Yeah.
He's had somewhat of a career resurrection.
Sure he has. He's had an awesome career.
I think I'm thanks but no thanks on Zach Ertz.
Oh, come on.
I think if we're getting a tight end, I would rather a guy who could come in for Goddard but also be a good blocker.
Yeah.
Calcaterra is not a good blocker at all. Zach Ertz, not famously very good blocking tight end. So, like, if we're going the tight end route, I think that would be the way I'd go.
Yeah, I just would love Zach Ertz.
I know, it'd be cute, and it'd be fun.
It would be cute. It'd be an awesome ending to the story. All right, 215-592-9494. If the Eagles have one more move in them, if Howie's got one more move by 4 o'clock today, what position do you want?